Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I am going to review the Galileo, the first of the shuttles from the Shuttle pack, Star Trek, the official Starship collection. I had originally opened all of this up and was going to do one video, and it just got to be so long I decided, okay, I'm going to break it up. So I've already recorded opening this up, but it kind of lacked an intro. So this is going to be episode 1 in a little playlist, or ship 1, the Galileo, and then we'll continue on from there. So here we go. We have the Galileo. There we go. Tiny little stand. We have the USS Galileo. Nice little kit. There's also to be holding this shuttle in my hand again, because this is, I had a model of this once, and the top came off, and you could see the seats. Just occurred to me I had forgotten about that thing. This is nicely done. Plain without being too plain, if that makes any sense. The landing gear in the back is a tad off though. Oh well, what are you gonna do? It's worst things in the world. If that ever pops loose, I can fix it, but I am not going to try and pop that loose. Especially with this little tiny piece right here. No. Otherwise, the paint seems nice. There is a section here that the red doesn't go through. I'm kind of thinking that's supposed to be that way. Oh yeah, it's the same on both sides. So, yeah. First thought it was just on one side. Very nice. Very neat little ship. I think there may be some metal in there somewhere. Not real certain. And it comes with this ever so tiny stand. And I can see why people were surprised at how tiny these are, even after seeing other reviews on camera and seeing them compared to regular ships. They are tiny. Not tiny, they're bigger than micro machines. But I don't like that. There. So the base is just very plain. Oops. It's the same sort of base as the other ships. Has a little label on the bottom. Much smaller. You have clear plastic that sits on top, but it's just flat, which is a little you kind of hope there'd be some hooks on the side or something to keep it from sliding around. And this one appears to have a little tiny crack in it. But so I will likely do something to make that stick on there, because for myself, as probably many others, our houses aren't built out of solid immovable stone. Floors creak and wobble and shelves shake when you walk through the house sometimes, depending on the situation. I can see this over time slowly possibly wobbling off, and I don't want to take that chance, so I may have to put some sticky stuff. You know, those credit card offers you get in the mail and they have the fake card in it. Or not even credit card offers, but sometimes you get a credit card or a debit card and it's stuck to a piece of paper with that clear glue stuff. I'd like to find that. I don't know where that is, but that would be great. the coup de grace. Oh, here we go. A plastic sheet. Would love to backlight this. That's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. It's got a little kind of cross section of the ship and what almost looks like buttons that tell you where everything is. And yeah, I don't know, I've heard somebody else say it, but it would be kind of neat if in the regular magazines that page where it shows the profile of the ship was done more in this style. That would be awesome. We have our two little stand thingies with an ever so neat reusable Ziploc bag. And I guess we could just stick these in there. Those are them. Okay. Ta-da! Camera's kind of high up, so it's not showing it, but I'll have to take a second shot later. But for now, let's just set this aside, and I'm going to keep going. And I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to split this up to several videos, because I don't really want to, but the length of it may be too much for someone to watch. I can see why others are doing the same. You know, I would just set this flat and not with the stand, but unfortunately this foot on the back sticks down at too much of an angle. Sticks down below the nacelles and crooked, so it really wouldn't quite sit flat like I'd like it. But anyhow, let's just slide that off camera. And what should we do next? Oh yeah, let's look at the magazine ever so briefly. I don't normally spend a lot of time with the magazines, but because this is a different situation. Contents, very much like the usual magazines. I don't think there's many pages in here. A bit about the Galileo. Sort of a profile of it without reading it, which I don't want to do. I'm assuming this is just information about the shuttle. These are always at least somewhat interesting to read. Oh yeah, here we go. And this is basically, it looks like kind of a copy of this with the details. Yeah, this would be so much neater if a lot of the ships were laid out like this. However, I can see that being a difficulty, especially with non-Federation ships. Because, and that's, you know, one of the things I've always kept in the back of my mind when they show the profile of some of the ships. There's not a lot of information about what's what, because they're not Federation ships. We're not supposed to know, in a sense, what all the weapons are. Some of them are mysterious, and we don't know the details of the ships. Would you do these in a Federation style, which would be, you know, make sense for the Federation ships, or would you do it in the style of each individual species? You know, the Klingon ones probably wouldn't be that hard, although would they be in Klingon? Could we read them? And what about the aliens that we know little or nothing about? Somebody would have to go to the time of creating a display for each different species and ship, so I can see why they just have a simple profile. This would be really neat, but this type of layout would not work for everything. This would require a lot more information to be available, dug up, or created, which would slow down the process, I'm sure, probably increase the cost of making these ships. So I can see the trade-off there. Anyhow, and that's it. There's only a few pages, a little bit of story, and basically a coup de grace all over again. So that's that one.